Hey, what's up guys and welcome to Tennis channel. And today, as promised, I'm going to talk to you about the Wilson RF01 Pro. You know that I already put out a review on the RF01 300 gram in my channel earlier. If you haven't watched it, then go check it out in my channel. I will put the link above. But I know that some of you may not go there, so let me recap about this one a little bit. To me, the RF01 300 gram is not special in any way. It feels very mediocre. It's a good stick for attacking modern style tennis players. But to me, it doesn't give me that much confidence on the baseline. There are three things that I don't like. First, I think the racket doesn't feel that good compared to, a Blade or Pro Staff, Gravity, even speed or something like that. It doesn't give me that much of a deep pocketing feel that you found in many other rackets. I think the string bed is pretty responsive and the ball gets off really fast. I think it's the same as something like the Blade 100, the Radical, something like that, which not my preference. Second, I think the sweet spot is really small. It's pretty hard to play with. But this racket, I think people expect it to be a little bit easier to play with than, let's say, the Blade, but it's not. I think it's even more difficult than playing with the Pro Staff. The power level, this one is quite powerful, but all the power is at the sweet spot. So if you hit on the sweet spot, then you get a very powerful ball. But if you hit a little bit outside of the sweet spot, then you get a dead ball that it allows the opponent to attack you. Third, and this is probably the most crucial thing, the racket lacks torsional stability at 3 and 9. Combined with the small sweet spot and the flex that Wilson tried to make this one like a little bit softer. If you hit on the sweet spot exactly, then everything was fine. But if you hit a little bit to this side or that side, to the 3 and 9 position, you can feel the racket face twist like this all the time, especially on the back foot that you have to deal with, like a big serve or heavy ball or high topspin launchy ball that you may not be accurate enough. Then that's where the problem arises. But if you have like more time to prepare your shot on the attack, like slow ball from the other side, short ball that allows you to like step in, then everything was fine. I think it's pretty reliable on the attack. That's pretty much sum up this one. But today let's talk about this one, the RF01 Pro, the Pro version. So 320 gram unstrung weight, 9 points headlight, 90 square inches head size, 16 by 19, and this racket is what's supposed to be played by Roger Federer from now on. I don't know if he's gonna play with this one for real or just marketing, but I expect him to at least play with it in, I don't know, some exhibition match that maybe he show up with this racket to make a presence. I don't know how it's gonna play, but I expect it to have like better stability than the 300 gram because this one is heavier, right? Before we go to the court, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. Okay, first I have to say that I know I'm not the best reviewer for this racket because it's too heavy for me in the long run anyway, and it's a player's racket, so I know exactly it's not made for me, but gonna do it anyway. Well, this racket is way more solid than the 300 gram on the baseline. It packs with a lot of power and it hits a very solid, powerful ball. The trajectory of the ball is medium to low. I can feel the racket has a very good spin potential, but you may need an extra focus if you want to get a loopy top spin ball. It depends on your racket head speed and swing path. What I like this racket more than the 300 gram basically is the stability. As I mentioned earlier, that I don't find the stability on the 300 gram that good. but I found this one to have a much better stability at 3 and 9. But that is supposed to be because the Pro is 20 grams heavier than the standard one. However, if you compare it with something in the same weight class like 315, 320 gram for example, the Pro Staff, the Gravity Pro, the T-Fight 315, I still think that the stability of this racket comes after those. You still have that issue at 3 and 9, especially when you hit off center. You can find the string bed being a little bit erratic in terms of power, but I think this is to be expected because if you look at the string bed, you can see that the middle 4 main strings are super tight and the rest of the main spread out. So you need to hit exactly in the middle to make the racket work, and anywhere else in the string bed can be a little bit inconsistent. If you come from the Pro Staff, the Blade Pro, H22, if you think that is your reference, then there's a high percentage that you may not like this type of feel. But if you come from the Pure Arrow, Radical, Boom, T-Fight 300, I think you can live with this. Even though I like to hit with this one from the baseline more than the 300 gram, there is one thing that I don't like, and that is the maneuverability. I think this racket feels sluggish. It's not as fast as the 300 gram. But you may say that, of course, it's heavier, but I think it's not solely because of the extra weight. I think it's about the balance of the racket, because both of them is 9 points headlight unstrung, or 31.5 centimeters. Which is not supposed to be, because if you want the racket to have the same maneuverability, then the heavier one needs to be more headlight than the lighter one. If you look at the Pro Staff 97, it's more headlight than this one, and it's like 5 gram lighter. That's why you can be whippy and swinging fast with the Pro Staff. But this one, I do not think so. The balance is just the same as other 305 gram rackets. So it's a bit of an irony because the racket requires you to swing fast to achieve the racket head speed, but the balance of the racket is not helping you with that. On my backhand, it's much better than the 300 gram, basically because it's more stable. I feel like I can just drive through the ball much better. Anyway, I think the RF01 Pro, as well as the standard version, is not made for a two-handed backhand. I believe if you're a one-hander, you may like this racket more than I am. Which is supposed to be because Roger Federer designs this racket and he's a one-hander. What I like about this RF01 Pro than the 300 gram is that basically it's more stable, and as I mentioned before, and that helps a lot with the service return. Now I feel like I have the weight behind me and I can step in and ship it back on the backhand side. And on the forehand side, I can just block it back with a short backswing and pushing the ball forward, which is something difficult to do with the 300 gram. And now the backhand slice feels way more solid. I can cut the ball low and keep it deep with consistency. It feels like a very different racket when comparing to the 300 gram version on the backhand slice. So yeah, I like it. On the serve, I think basically I'm not strong enough to generate the power from this type of racket at this 320 gram weight. So I do prefer the 300 gram over this one on the serve. On the control, I don't feel the precision as much as on the Pro Staff or the Blade, but it's better than its modern rackets competitors in my opinion. Lastly, on the forgiveness, I think this racket is not forgiving in any way. I feel like most of the Pro Stock rackets I'm familiar with have even larger sweet spot than this RF01 Pro. Not to mention the feel. You need to be extra accurate and meeting the ball in front on every shot, which I'm not at that level. I also think you should go with the hybrid setup on this racket and string it lower than your normal to open up the sweet spot. In summary, The RF01 Pro is not the replacement of the Pro Staff line, as you may know. It's made for a complete different group of players. I think if you have an aggressive attacking all-court style with modern compact swing, semi-western grip, and you play at a high level, I think this racket is for you. If you come from something like Pure Arrow 98, Radical Pro, Boom Pro, Shift, Blade 100, I think there's a high percentage that you would like this racket. But if you come from a Pro Staff, the Blade, a T-Fight 305, H22, Speed Gravity, E-Zone, V-Core, Percept, or any other baseline rackets, I think that you may have a lower percentage that you will like this racket. But anyway, it's always good to demo the racket yourself than watching reviews, because different strokes, different rackets, right? Overall, for me, I prefer the RF01 Pro on the baseline, but in a match, I think I play way better with the RF01 300 gram given my level. And to me, I prefer the Pro Staff much more than the RF01 line. I thought this racket is supposed to be easier than the Pro Staff, but it's apparently not. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.